Hello again, this is Moroni Prime with yet another video review. This review will be over the 1988 Autobot Powermaster Leader, Optimus Prime. This figure was released in 1988, released first in America before a later release in Japan as Super Ginrai, with some different molding. But we'll discuss that here in a minute. This figure is the cab and semi. You have articulation here with regard to the cab being able to move independent of the trailer, so you can actually turn and whatnot. So, yeah, we'll start by going into the basic robot mode. Just pull up on the trailer while pulling down on the figure carefully, because the trailer hitch is known to break. There's a peg here. It's very fragile, so try not to break that. We will then take the trailer and move it out of the way, as is customary for Optimus to always have his trailer vanish. Now, first and foremost, before I go any further, I want to show you the Powermaster. Ginrai in Japan, Haikyuu in America. I have painted it to look like Ginrai a little bit. You can look up on tfu.info to see the original unaltered version, but this is actually a reissue Powermaster that I put with the vintage piece because I like the chrome better as opposed to the flat gray of the vintage. But I don't think it turned out too bad. Anyway, this figure serves as a kind of a precursor to the Mini-Con of sorts. Gimmick based. Essentially what this does is you transform it, take the legs and put them up on either side, and there he is supposed to then be an engine. What this does is you take it and place it into the engine port on the front of the cab, push down and it will click into place, thereby enabling the Powermaster figure to transform. Far too many times I've seen where people have busted off that peg because they just force it to transform. You know, even little kids back in the 80s did that without having the Powermaster in. And watch, I'll show you. I'll take the Powermaster out, and that clip goes right back into its place, holding the legs up. If you transform it without that, you just broke your toy. So anyway. So we've got the Powermaster and we've got the legs moved. Let's take this panel here and fold it down. That becomes the waist plate. Then the rear of the semi here, the part with the trailer hitch, that goes down 2 clicks. That becomes the feet. Then you take the rear of the semi here. It folds outward 90 or 180 degrees. And the arms pull down like so. You just flip up the head and you're done. You have Powermaster Optimus Prime. Also known as Ginrai, I suppose. I have to say, out of any of the Generation 1 incarnations of Optimus, this is probably the most show accurate in terms of proportions and overall appearance. With the exception of the blue lower forearms and the smokestacks being on the inside of the torso as opposed to on the outside of the arms. But otherwise, it's not a far cry from the original animation model. Very, very well done. And it does a good job of passing off as a solid semi in the alternate mode. So this is actually done quite well. Next we'll move on to the Powermaster combination, which is where he combines with the trailer, as seen here. You know, it's notorious thing about Prime's trailer is he always brings it from out of nowhere, pulls it in a hammer space, I guess, I don't know. So we'll start by taking off these side guns here. We'll just pull out, be careful of the pegs, don't break them. Same with the trailer hitch, they're fragile. Same thing here, these guns just pull right up, please be careful. I know it may seem like I'm nervous about this, but I've seen far too many Powermaster Primes specifically broken more than many other figures from that era because of that. So We have all the guns off. We are left with the trailer. You have the door that can come down. It's actually two doors side by side. The sticker detail makes it look like they would open outward, like a standard trailer. These actually fold down as a ramp for your smaller Autobot vehicles, like your Throttlebots and whatnot. Notice in here is actually the head. There's a hole on the inside of either side of the wall of the trailer, and the peg on the head. You can actually store the head securely without having to rattle around if you place it in this configuration with the back of the head facing the back of the trailer. There's just enough room and everything shuts without issue. So anyway, take the upper portion of the trailer, the lid I guess, or the roof, whatever you call it, and that allows, due to these tabs here, these panels to now fold down. Place that back up, and then take the trailer hitch, which is up here, pull the whole thing back, like so. We're almost done. Now you take these front portions of the trailer, you just flip them around 180 degrees, and then rotate them down 90 degrees. There you have your trailer in the robot mode. Open up the legs a bit, then we'll separate in the middle, and you can carefully, I say again carefully with the pegs, pull the head out. There you have the head. Set it off to the side with the guns. Then you take the cab and we'll return it to its semi configuration as the truck. Flip the head down, the arms up and in, waist panel up, the whole thing back, and the feet up. Now we'll take it, and at the knee joint we will bend the knees backwards, thereby forming a cube of sorts, or a block, which is kind of funny considering it's 1988, you know, the highlight of the block era of Generation 1. Take it and it will slide right down in and click into place. Then all you need to do then is take the double barrel cannons here. There's holes on the arms. Plug them in. Place the guns in the fists. As so. And then place the head on top. And you're done. Powermaster Prime, Super Ginrai, what have you, in robot mode. Not bad. Decent figure. Articulation. He can move his arms 360 degrees laterally. He can also flap like a bird or a duck. And he can do the splits for your entertainment. Yay! Overall, decent figure. Probably one of the best from Generation 1. In that it's so versatile. I give it probably a 9 out of 10. It lacks articulation, but you know, had it had articulation, it would have gotten a 10 out of 10. The reason I didn't give it a 4, because the articulation is so limited, is because of the following mode. The third mode, the base. Remove all the guns in the head. Carefully remove the semi. Transform it back into the robot mode. After having done so, go ahead and remove the Powermaster, because the Powermaster is only needed to convert to robot mode. It's not needed to convert back to vehicle mode. Remember that. Set that off to the side for the moment. Transform the Powermaster back into the robot by folding his legs down into human positions as opposed to weird contortionist positions. Set it off to the side here as well. Now the base mode. What we do is we take the arms straight up. The trailer hitch go up to point at an angle, and this back panel folds down. Next you take these leg panels here, fold out and click into place, and then both legs do the splits. Open the trailer doors here, as shown, and then these panels here pull out and become ramps. You'll notice on the inside here is now revealed the holes. These are the same holes that can hold the head in trailer mode on the inside. This is the other side of those. The double barrel blasters can now go into those holes, and you can aim the guns as needed. Then the two rifles here go into the arms, holes in the arms there, and they go at a similar angle to the trailer hitch, and they are all three meant to be cannons. The head here, there's no real good spot for it, so I usually just kind of tuck it back behind, like on the front of the thigh, or I just set it back there. It doesn't really lock into place or anything, it just kind of hides back there, pretend it doesn't exist. Then you have Powermaster Prime, who can then stand inside the trailer cavity and kind of command things. I know this may be kind of suggestive. I don't know if that's what they intended or not, but the positioning of the cannon does raise a couple of questions, but we'll not ask those today. We will leave that for someone else. Lastly, we have the Powermaster, Ginrai, Haikyuu, what have you. You will take his legs and go at a weird angle like so. Similar to the Enchun configuration, only that the legs are now pointing down. The reason that is so he can actually sit on the double barrel cannon, and I'll show you. Up here you have the two tabs on the cannon. Those actually fit snugly into the centerpiece. I know this is suggestive, but ignore it, okay? That is the same tab that depresses the trigger for the Powermaster conversion. That also locks in between these two tabs here, like so. And the part of the gun here is meant to, I guess, be a computer console or something. And so now Haikyuu or any other of your Powermasters can control the cannon as a turret. Just get it in here. So there you have it. Powermaster Prime, base mode. Very nice figure. If you can find the reissue, great. If you find the vintage one, even better. Because I'm a sucker for vintage stuff. I don't know. The reissue, if you get it, it uses the Ginrai mode. The differences between Ginrai and Powermaster Prime are basically the Ginrai, the front of the cab here is die-cast metal as opposed to plastic, and the windows are translucent plastic, so you can actually see into the cab. There's nothing in there really to look at. And as well as the fists here on the trailer are separate pieces, and they actually go down into the arms, and there's a lever on the outside. That's not present on the American release, but get whatever one you prefer. Nice figure, good quality, but if you're going to get it mainly for the nostalgia factor, because if you're looking for playability, it's not too great except for the base mode. That's where you get your smaller figures and things, and if you have Hot Wheels or Spy Changers, what have you, you can utilize that. But yeah, it's up to you. I suggest get it. If you don't like G1, then well, you have no soul. At any rate, once again, this has been Moroni Prime, clearly wasting your time.